feature factory. Let's go. Here's a feature. Here's a feature. Here's a feature. Yeah, the videos are gonna be like insane. Like, just wait like a month. Hey everyone, it is Mike from TurneyBit. I don't have a ton to show this week in terms of flashy new features. However, I'll give you a little peek under the hood of just like what I'm actually working on right now. I did that a little last week with the strategy, but I just want to kind of map like what I'm working on and how it relates back to some of the requests that y'all have given me, and why I'm kind of embarking on this kind of a longer, taking a step back to, you know, take 10 steps forward in terms of elevating this platform to the next level. So I have open right here. This is the new registration service. So this is an API, application programming interface. This is what kind of powers everything under the hood. So any kind of UI, any kind of, you know, web interface you see in ggLeap, in the ggLeap client, probably not this one so much, but you know, the tournament service would obviously be used in there, and any service around users and players. This is what, you know, is powering all this stuff. So for registration, you know, I mentioned last week, I'm kind of separating it out. The main reason for this was to power both tournaments and leagues, so that way I don't have to duplicate a bunch of stuff for signing up for a tournament or signing up for a league. But, you know, along the way, you know, I'm not just going to do that at face value. I'm going to take a look, see, you know, what kind of features that y'all have requested, and see, you know, how I can incorporate them in this new version. So kind of showing you what I did here. So let me go to the actual registration form object. So basically this is the thing that you can configure with all your settings specific to how you want players and teams to register. So, you know, by the way, I use the Google API standard. So they're referred to as the Google AIPs. So, you know, Google, obviously, you know, very mature company, big company. They do a lot of hardcore software engineering, software architecture. So I have used them throughout my career, and, you know, use these AIPs to design APIs, and that's what I'm doing here. So a lot of these conventions with like name and display name, these are like standard fields. So, you know, display names, obviously, you know, what you would call the form, like, you know, registration for tournament XYZ, registration for league XYZ, whatever. And, you know, maybe to just derive based on your tournament and league name. You know, description obviously is standard. So here's, you know, something that, you know, we had before, but we didn't really have it at this like top level concept. Like when you're talking about registration, like, all right, can players register for this, or can teams? So now we have this explicit type here, which will trigger obviously different flows and behavior depending on who you're signing up. Required team size, you know, we got some validation here. Teams up to 10,000 people. Yeah, just being ultra liberal with that value there. Team type, so, you know, this doesn't really correspond to anything right now, but you're able to define whether, you know, only professional teams get signed up for your thing. And, you know, we may introduce some criteria for actually verifying teams down the line. So, you know, this is just kind of a placeholder thing, like metadata field that you can populate. The UI might not even let you do it, but you know, my plan is to hopefully launch some level of API access if needed. I know some of you in the past have requested that. And then, you know, open time, close time, we used to have this on the tournament. You know, you guys have seen it in the UI. So now it's just on this form specifically. Max participants, nothing new here. We have this kind of cleaner registration state kind of field here. So, you know, the state field is kind of a standard field in that, you know, kind of API best practices framework that I mentioned earlier. So that's kind of standardized. Region code, so obviously, you know, you guys are a global customer base. This is a global platform. So, you know, you can define what regions you allow players to actually sign up from. And then required external accounts, I got this feature, request from some of you where you want to, make sure you collect the players' Discord info, etc. So that's what this is for. Custom fields. So this is a new thing. This wasn't explicitly asked for, but I've gotten enough requests of, onesie twosie type fields that you need to collect for your tournament. So now you can actually define those custom, kind of like Google Forms, text field, options field, number field, yes, no type fields. That will be supported. Required equipment. So I know it was mentioned that we don't really have like stuff that supports like consoles, for example. So you can kind of say what type of controller is required or something there if you want to. Policies, so this is a big thing. So if I go back up here, if you are requiring, your participants, your players, your teams to, sign some policy or agree to some policy, you can kind of define what that is. And, in the UI, we'll show those policies and make sure that folks are agreeing to those before actually signing up. So this is, a lot of league platforms do this, like disclaimers, waivers, whatever kind of policy you need, the participant to be aware of. So that's that. And then, approval required. So this was, something that was requested by a couple of you, where you want to be able to actually filter out participants. And so this would be used for, we want to kind of add more notifications in the system down the line for like, when players sign up, you get a confirmation email and stuff. So this would be for you to actually go in and basically approve someone before they actually get that confirmation that they have signed up for your tournament. So if you have some criteria, now we hope to automate some of the criteria here, like with the allowed regions and stuff, but if you have more custom rules, or you just, want absolute complete control over the process, this is for you to basically manually, basically be like, yes, this person with this email address, like say, you're a college or university, you only need to allow, or you are requiring only participants who actually have a school email address to sign up. Then, this is the kind of thing and the kind of flow that will be supported with this new API. I'm calling it registration v3 because I guess there was a registration v2. It's the v2 API, so a little confusing there, but yeah, the new version of registration will support that. Check-in. So check-in is another thing that a lot of the mature platforms already have. So we're incorporating that here. So that's, if you're holding your event on site, you want to make sure, the player's actually there. You can mark them as checked in, and that'll effectively load them into the bracket, etc., etc. And even if you're doing it online, you can do it in another way. Whether having them go in Discord and say that they're here and they're ready, whatever. But yeah, you can manually go in and say that a player is checked in, and your tournament organizers can do that. Let's see, entry fee. So yeah, we want to support payments. We've gotten, I remember we had some payment features rolled out, or payment UIs rolled out, I guess, and it caused some confusion. But we do ultimately want to support payments. So obviously, the registration form is where that would happen. There's some legal things, some compliance things that need to be kind of checked before we actually do that. So some boxes to check there. So take a look at that. But yeah, that's obviously a medium-term goal, and would be supported with this API and with this new v3, v2 API registration. Responses URLs. So this is just a kind of convenience field to know where to find responses. So yeah, obviously there's like a register API and stuff like that, so people can actually sign up to this registration form. Annotation is just kind of a standard thing for doing third-party integrations with an API, and yeah, these are just auditing fields. So yeah, I don't know if people are into this kind of video, but yeah, I just wanted to show kind of under the hood. I feel like I haven't showed any code before. I mean, this is like an API definition, so I'm not actually showing the code. But yeah, I mean, looking at the board here, kind of all these registration tickets would be addressed, and these are, you know, customer feedback. So that's, I think the yellow means it's customer feedback. So that's something that you guys specifically requested. So yeah, we'll get these tickets knocked out. Yeah, sign up approval, check-in flow, collecting, requiring additional info from sign up. Let's see, what else? Yeah, I mean, like, this is like deeper ladder APIs, so, you know, that would obviously be in the new V2 tournament API. What else? Yeah, some like selecting team members for a specific tournament that was requested today by Fish. Like, yeah, I mean, we got like team roster on the team registration, so basically the flow would be able to select specific team members, and then yeah, I mean, this is kind of outside of the scope editing team members generally, but yeah, and then obviously all these league and notifications type features, player schedules, like, you know, the ultimate goal is the introduction of a new league API, and you know, the first step to that is making sure the existing platform is, you know, we've got everything in order, and everything is actually scalable and can be built on top of. So that's what I'm doing right now, and you know, it's just good practice to kind of evaluate where you're at before embarking on a new kind of area. So I could have just kind of fit leagues into tournaments, but you know, I really want to, and we as in, you know, Turnybit and GG Circuit really want leagues to be this first class functionality, you know, league commissioner tools, things like that. And the only way to really accomplish that is to make it its own separate module and kind of start decoupling some things from tournaments that can be reused in leagues. So that's what I'm doing. Yeah, you know, I'm not gonna say I'm sorry for not showing flashy features, because I know that this is the path for me to really show those high value features to you guys. So thank you so much for your patience. Thank you for continuing to give me feedback. And yeah, a goal of me kind of filming this video is, if, you know, if you actually watch this, because it's probably pretty long, if there's anything that you're like, oh, that doesn't really make sense for my workflow, or, you know, oh yeah, that would be great, you know, even positive feedback is appreciated. Yeah, I mean, let me know. This is actively in development, so it's much easier for me to change things now than later. But I'm pretty confident in the direction, just based on all the feedback I've gotten from you, my, you know, experience in developing software, and yeah, it just makes sense. And yeah, let me show you that actually this is, you know, bam. So that was me calling the API. So yeah, it's already, the registration API is already implemented now. There's some things that need to be tuned up, but it works. It's not just a theoretical kind of document thing. And yeah, one more thing, you know, while I'm here, let's see if I can bring it up. Yeah, we got, oh, here it is at the top. We got docs. So yeah, everything, all those comments and everything, I gotta get rid of these API linter things. But yeah, there's a reason that it's super well commented. That's because it directly gets incorporated into the docs. So yeah, and I think you can even see the schemas. So if I go to registration form, yeah, you can see what all these fields mean, and yeah, kind of explore them. Oh, even like super deep like this. So yeah, that's the video. Long one, but yeah, I wanted to share all this. I'm really excited about it. I've been super heads down on this, and like, believe me, it pains me to have to do this because I love working on the features that, like, you guys can kind of tangibly use right away. And like, this has like been a lot of heads down development, a lot of, stuff behind the scenes. I can't emphasize enough though. This is going to help me move so much faster. Like, it's gonna be wild. So it's coming. And yeah, I'm slowing down very intentionally to make sure that the next 6 months to a year, it's just a feature factory over here. That's what we're doing.